And what advice would you give young fighters who are looking to come up through the ranks themselves today?
The people that don't listen to their coach and second guess their coach or have like all these ideas in their head of what they need to do and are uncoachable are usually the ones that maybe they do well at practice, maybe they have a couple good days, but they're only going off how they feel and training off how they feel and training when they feel good and doing things that they're comfortable doing. But the thing is that you have to believe in your coach, you have to trust your coach, and you have to listen to what they say because they're going to make you do things that you personally don't want to do and step out of your comfort zone and give you that outside perspective that's going to take you to the next level.
Welcome to Harry Handles It, a podcast where we dive into the world of personal growth, success strategies, and everything in between. I'm your host, Harry Nalbandyan, and today we're going to chat with an incredible guest who has some amazing insights to share. Remember, no matter what life throws your way, I'm here to help you handle it. So let's get started.
Welcome to the Harry Handles It podcast. Today we have the awesome Nick Newell on, who has an incredible life story, an incredible journey in fighting sports, and is an incredible entrepreneur with his own business. Nick, welcome. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate being on.
Of course. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your story.
Okay, so a little bit about myself. I am a professional mixed martial arts fighter. I am a business owner. I am a third degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and a high school and college wrestler. And the one thing that stands out about me that people are interested in is I do it all with only one hand. So I'm missing my left hand, and I still am able to do all these things and just live my life just as anyone else would and chase the dreams that I would have chased if I had two hands. You know, it didn't stop me from going after the things that I wanted to go after.
And what's wild is that you chose to follow a dream where you're using your hands for a living in fight sports. I mean, how did you overcome these obstacles going through the ranks of high school, college, and your professional career?
I think the best thing is to not really think about it too much. I think that's what probably helped me the most, is that it wasn't something that I harped on or that I thought about too much. Winners win with what they got, and I didn't really realize that, or like whatever you have is what you win with. And I didn't really think about that much. To be honest with you, this is like a funny story, but I used to just watch like pro wrestling, and my neighbor was like, "Oh, I'm going to join the wrestling team." And I was like, "Oh, I could beat you up. Like, I'm going to join the wrestling team." So I just like kind of decided, because my neighbor was doing it, that like I wanted to do it. I wanted to wrestle, and I didn't really know what I was getting into. When I was younger, my dad wanted me to wrestle, but I like wanted to play baseball and soccer and stuff like that. So I decided on my own that I was going to do it when I got to high school, and I found it really enjoyable despite not being very naturally good at it.
Grappling is one of my favorite things to do. What drew you to wrestling and just a grappling sport?
Like I said before, I was watching a lot of pro wrestling, and I joined, and I didn't even know that you couldn't do submissions. I thought it was like jujitsu, but you could pin the person, and I was like, oh, okay, and I was like learning all this stuff, and I think one of the things that kind of helped me is my coach, Matt Schoonmaker, he's still a coach at my high school, even though I graduated like 20 years ago. He saw something in me, and he wanted me to be good. And I was the only guy on the team that was under 103 pounds. So I was varsity my freshman year, because I was the only guy there. So like people were counting on me, and people were helping me, and people were trying to get me better. So I felt like, despite not being good at it, I felt like a responsibility to be something. And I held myself accountable, and it helped. I lost my first 17 matches when I started wrestling, 0-17, and then when I won that 18th match, I was like, okay, this is what I need. This is something I need more of in my life. And even though I technically had 8 wins my freshman year, 6 of them were forfeits. So I really only won 2 matches the whole year, but those 2 wins were like this feeling and this rush that I never really felt before, and I really felt like I needed to get more of that in my life.
That's incredible, man. I don't know how many other people have the resilience to stand up and lose 18, 17 times in a row and still get back up, get out there, and then win. I don't think that happens very often.
Yeah, I love telling this story. So like I was wrestling and the wrestling season ended and I was like, "Oh, I'll just do track." And one of my teammates, his name was Pete Bensavenga, rest in peace. He's now gone. But he kind of backed me up into a corner one day. We were at school and I was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he was like, "Nick, what are you doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What are you doing?" And he's like, "You're joining the track team?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like running. I'll stay active." He's like, "Dude," he's like, "you're so bad at wrestling." He's like, "You want to get killed next year?" He's like, "If you want to get good, you have to wrestle all year round." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that was like a thing." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come to the club with me." So his dad would pick us up, and he was just blunt with me. He was very blunt with me. Maybe some people would have thought of it as rude, but I was like, "Oh, okay." Like you want me to be better, like you're mad. So I started going to club with him, and I didn't notice like much progress. I was just training, 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 and I was still losing to like a lot of the club guys. But when I came back the next year, I started beating all the people that didn't train in the off season, and I started winning all these matches. And I was like, man, I keep getting easy matches. That's all I thought. I was like, wow, these guys must be like not very good. And then I started placing in every tournament I went to, and this was just only in one off season of training. I ended up going from being the worst guy on the team to being one of the best guys on the team, and being better than people that were better than me the year before, and beating people that I lost to, all because I just kind of stayed consistent. So that helped me kind of figure out like, okay, this hard work stuff really does pay off, consistency. And it kind of taught me a lesson that I kind of carry over to everything in life. But in this particular instance, it was through wrestling.
That's beautiful. And honestly, through the jiu-jitsu practice, I've learned that lesson too. Consistently show up. You will get better no matter how much you suck today, no matter how much you're going to suck tomorrow. It will get better if you just show up, put in the work, and are intentional about it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then by my senior year, I was captain of the team, all state, because I just kept that same formula going that my friend encouraged me to do.
And so, how did that transition from the high school to the pro fighting side?
Okay, so was, I was, that same friend, Pete, had taught me about MMA. I didn't know about MMA, but I went over his house and I watched Ken Shamrock first. Tito Ortiz won. That was the first fight I ever watched. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. I thought Tito Ortiz was like, I'm like, man, who can beat this guy? I was like, this guy's crazy. He beat Ken Shamrock, because I knew Ken Shamrock from wrestling, and I never really got the grasp of it. And then I watched Ken Shamrock fight Sakuraba. So shout out to Ken Shamrock, because I was a big fan of his. And I actually got to meet him in person. He was a very, very nice guy. And sometimes when you meet people, it's like disappointing. But with him, it was like, wow, it was like surprising, because sometimes he comes off as brash on like TV and stuff like that. But when I met him in person, he was like a total sweetheart. So he kind of helped get me into MMA a little bit. But then and my friend Pete. And then I watched The Ultimate Fighter when it came out, season 1. I happened to be a freshman in college, and one of my teammates had been training, and I was like, "Hey, man, I know you do this stuff. Like, I would kind of like to just learn how to do this, because I know how to wrestle, but I don't really know how to fight. Like besides just thinking I kind of can fight, but I also thought I could wrestle too." And then I got out there and I lost my first 17 matches. So I kind of figured like, hey, I probably don't know how to fight if I don't train it, So I kind of went that direction and started training in between my wrestling seasons for MMA.
How did that lead up to your professional career?
Oh, so I met my coach Jeremy through like a few people that I knew that trained there. and I didn't have like really much intention to fight. I was more focused on just passing college and doing well in school, but I I wrestled, and then I was like, okay, like, and I got a little distracted in wrestling, and I feel like I could have done a little bit more. So it's like I want to keep going. I want to keep my athletic career alive, and it would be cool to do a fight. I went to go watch fights, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, well, I think I could beat these guys. So I told my coach, I was like, what? I didn't say I'm gonna fight. I said, what do I have to do to be able to fight? I want you to tell me when I'm ready, but I'll do whatever you tell me to do, and that's when I'll fight. But that's my goal. So he laid it out. I did everything he told me, and I took my first fight.
How did that experience, as you know, going through the ranks, going pro, and then opening up your own school, coaching your own students? How do you feel like that's impacted your style of coaching?
See, so the main thing that I'll say from a coach's perspective, as being a former fighter, um, the the positives are fantastic. Not to say that people that never fought can't coach, because you can, and there's some people I know that never fought that I would take advice from, but the perspective that I have on what you need, what you don't need, the mental, and like what it takes to get out there, I feel like is a huge benefit to my athletes that fight for me, because I'm not asking them to do something I wouldn't do. And in terms of empathy, I feel like there's certain areas where maybe I'm like, you know what, I felt that before. I've been there before. I felt exactly like you felt, and I can kind of empathize with them. And then there's certain times where I'm like, no, I've been through this. Like, you've done this, and this is like what we have to do to get the job done. And obviously, everyone's story is different, so you can't really put yourself in someone else's shoes. But I can use my own personal experiences to help make them better, because I've done a lot of things right and I've done a lot of things wrong, and I've learned a lot of lessons, and it's kind of helped me become better at what I do and become a better coach and a better person.
I love that. Do you find it difficult with your students when they complain to you about workload or what they have to do, um, or what it takes to become a champion? Do you feel like you empathize less with that, or how do you deal with that situation, having overcome everything you did to get to where you are?
I think it's there's a lot of gray area with something like that, because everyone's experience is different. So like, one thing you'll never get from me is that my life was harder than yours. And like, obviously I had a lot of things that I battled in my life that I'd say even having one hand is on the lower end of the harder things that I've had to go through in my life, in terms of becoming the person that I am. So like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how I feel about you. There's a job to be done. I can talk to you as a person, as a man, and help you as a friend. But if you want me to help you reach your goals, there's certain things that are, you can't take them out of the equation. They have to be done, and it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you've been through. There's certain things that you can't skip over, and it comes down to so many factors, including priorities, right, and attitude. So if you don't have the right attitude and you don't get these things done, it's not going to happen, and nothing else really matters besides that. It doesn't matter how I feel about you. It doesn't matter if I like you or not. There's tons of people that I care for deeply and love, but they're never going to be champions. They're never going to be great fighters, because they don't do the things they need to do, and they don't do what you have to do to be a champion, or at least what I know will help me get to the level that I got to.
And what advice would you give young fighters who are looking to come up through the ranks themselves today?
So just certain things that I notice as a coach, being a coach and doing these things, is the guy that thinks they have all the answers is usually the guy that ends up the most upset, or woman, right? Because there's a lot of great female fighters, and a lot of great female jiu-jitsu players out there. But the people that don't listen to their coach and second guess their coach, or have like all these ideas in their head of what they need to do and are uncoachable are usually the ones that maybe they do well at practice, maybe they have a couple good days, but they're only going off how they feel and training off how they feel and training when they feel good and doing things that they're comfortable doing. So of course you're going to have good days when you do that. But the thing is that you have to believe in your coach, you have to trust your coach, and you have to listen to what they say, because they're going to make you do things that you personally don't want to do and step out of your comfort zone and give you the outside perspective that's going to take you to the next level.
I feel like we can analogize that to any situation. I mean, I run a team of lawyers who are trying to be or aspiring to be trial lawyers, and you got to get in the ring. You got to do the work before you get there. You got to do A, B, C, and D before you can show up in front of a jury for your client. So I feel that parallel between what you said and what somebody who's wanting to go through the ranks of this kind of work, it's the same. No matter how you feel, you can feel like crap. You can have a bad week. It can be super busy. But when you got that finish line and it's ahead of you and you know you have to do A through Z, there's no skipping over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not an expert lawyer or anything like that, but like if you don't study for the bar, you show up for the bar and you're like, hey, I'm sorry, my job was taking up all my time and I'm really tired and my girlfriend cheated on me, and like they don't care. Like you have to know what you have to know and you have to do what you have to do to make it happen. And it's like, as a friend, I care about you. As a professional, I can't.
So what's next for you in MMA?
To be honest with you, I turn 39 next month. My life has been, I've been
Congratulations.
kind of at it since I was 14 really hard. I haven't fought in like 3 years. I would like to get one more fight and then call it a day, I think. If that doesn't happen, I'd be pretty satisfied with what I have. I've been making some runs in jiu-jitsu. I've been doing pretty good in jiu-jitsu. I've
I've
been
seen some of
training
those
with some
videos,
of
man.
the best guys in the world. The past couple months, I haven't been on it as much as I should. I've been more focused on coaching my own guys. But, I focus on myself again. I'll make like a nice little run, maybe at 80cc trials, and then maybe try to get that other fight. But either way, man, I'm at the period in my career where I'm just having fun. I'm trying to make it fun, because when I was younger, it kind of consumed everything. It was my everything. I've never traveled really. I've only left the United States a couple times. Never been to Europe. Never gone on really a lot of vacations, because I've just been so focused on work, 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 work. And every day I train to get better. Every day I train to get better, because that's what is fun for me. And I make my fighters better, and I study them, and I coach them. We have a lot of guys with a lot of really big opportunities coming up. Fights will be announced soon, but they have fights on UFC Fight Pass for LFA, and these fights could help get them to the next level. So I'm really focused on that, and I'm just enjoying the ride, man. I kind of worked hard for a really long time, and I'm still working hard, but I'm just working a little different.
That's the right way to put it. And your fighters are lucky to have you, your guidance to get them to the places that they want to go. So I know that takes a lot of your time. Do you find yourself wanting to do more coaching, build up more fighters as you're getting older?
Well, I've had a gym for a while, and one thing I noticed is I want this big fight team. I want this big fight team. I want all these fighters. And then it's like the balance of like fighters don't pay the bills. Everyday people pay the bills, right? But it's like I really love coaching all different types of people. So I like coaching people with goals that are going to follow through on their goals, or helping people give them motivation to follow through on their goals. So whether it's just to lose weight or just learn how to defend yourself, like I'm going to love helping you. I don't really want any fighters on my team that say they want it that don't really want it. I want a team. I'd rather have a smaller team of people that really want it, because getting to the next level requires a lot of work, and a lot of the work I guide you, but you have to do most of the work yourself. And I don't care. Any coach in the world will tell you that I can give you the guidance and I can lay out the game plan, but if you're not going to follow through on it, then it's not worth it to me. So like, I don't really want to chase people around or force people to do something they don't want to do. I want people that are all in and ready to go, because I hire like the best coaches I can find around me to work for me. And my team is really on the same page, and we all have goals that we like in terms of coaching, and it's just about having the right people. And right now I have a team that's really fantastic. We all vibe really well. Everyone gets along really well, and we all help each other. There's no egos. Obviously, it's a fight gym, so every once in a while, you get mad at someone for sparring too hard, or, oh, come on, man, you pulled that submission too hard. But like really people aren't getting hurt like that in my gym. I mean, anything can happen, but it's just really positive, really good vibes, really good attitude, and I'm really happy with where I'm at right now and what I have going on.
I love that, man. I love to hear that you have that great culture around you and your team. Tell our viewers how they can find you and get in touch.
Okay, you can find me at Notorious Newell on Instagram. My Twitter got hacked. I'm trying to get it back. They changed my email and the phone number on it. I really don't know. I never click on I don't know how it happened, because I don't ever click on hey, click this. I'm smarter than that. And I have a Facebook too, but I don't really check it. So mainly Instagram at Notorious Newell.
Awesome, man. I appreciate this conversation. I hope to keep in touch soon, and good luck in everything else that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us today on Harry Handles It. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and found some valuable takeaways. If you're facing challenges in your own life or business, remember that you're not alone. Together, we can handle anything that comes our way. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you liked what you heard. Until next time, keep pushing forward and handling life with confidence.